Hey guys, welcome back to Burnout's Hot Rod Shop. On this episode, I bought an online auction. There's a couple things that I saw that I was just like, yeah, I want to get that if the price doesn't go too high, and they didn't. So what you'll see here is I bought a box of hammers and some Fiskars yard tools. So the yard tools have already been taken out. They were for my wife and my daughter that want to take care of their shrubs and their flowers and stuff. I picked that up, but then all these hammers and stuff that are in the rest of the lot, you'll see. I paid $20 for this one, but if you've ever bought those Fiskar like loppers and different yard tools like that, those things are like $40 a piece in the store. You know, I think Fiskar sometimes thinks they're Kinepex. I'm not sure. So I picked it up for $20. It had like 4 pieces of Fiskars in there, and the rest is, if there's something in there I like, great. If not, it'll all go in the $5 bin out of the flea market. So if there's something you see here, all this stuff's gonna go in my $5 bin. That doesn't necessarily mean it's $5. Come have a conversation with me and say, yeah, I don't know if I want to do 5 on this. We'll usually talk down a little bit. So, you know, part of it's the art of the conversation, right? If you just come up and hand it to me and like, hand me a $5 bill, yeah, I'm gonna take it. But you come up and we talk, we get to know each other, yeah, I might cut you a little bit better deal if you say, hey, can you do $4.50? You know, $4, whatever. Did that for a guy yesterday, so. It's all in how we do that. Then there's going to be a lot that's a whole bunch of wrenches. That box I got for $6. And another one was a whole bunch of sockets and stuff, and I got that one, I think, for $12. So all in all, I didn't have much money in this. And when you see some of those things that are coming up, I actually haven't dug through them yet. So I'm going to be as surprised as you, I think. Some of the sockets I'll do some cleanup on. But I'm rambling. We're like 2 minutes into it. I had to look up and see what the time says. We're like 2 minutes into this intro. So let's get it at it or we ain't going to get it done. So we'll start off with the hammer lot I was talking about. Move my stool back so I can stand up and do this. First up is this Stanley pry bar. Looks like it's never been used. This one's one of those cool ones. Got the little dip in it so you can really get some leverage. Kind of show you that in the instructions. Yeah, maybe used once or twice, and that's about it. So that's not a bad little piece. Set it aside here so we can dig through some of this. Next up, we got this hammer. It's a claw hammer, and if you can see, it's got the Stanley name on it. So not a bad little Stanley. Nice wood handle, still nice and tight. Now this one's like plastic sealed. Then we've got this guy. It's one of these steel shafted hammers. And this one also is a Stanley. Those are some good hammers for $5, I'll tell you what. Now we got this masonry hammer, steel handle. This one, I think when we look at the label, it's made in China. But, I mean, it's still a nice little hammer. It's actually got some decent weight to it, too. Sometimes you get these and the shaft feels really hollow and stuff, especially if it's a Chinese-made one. This one doesn't feel that way. When I looked at it, I had to look for some labeling because it honestly felt more like one of the Stanley versions. Next up, we've got this cobbler's hammer. This one has this red paint on it that was real thick. Now, I did clean this up. There is just not enough there for me to know what it is. But you can see it's got like the 2 zeros. And then above it, I can see like AND or OND right up in this area. But not anything of the rest of it. This one I may keep just because I don't have a little cobbler's hammer. And these are great if you're doing any type of leather work. My wife has an awesome little leather sewing machine that she doesn't use. So maybe I'll clean this up and she won't use it too. I'll put it with it. It's an old Singer cobbler machine. Let's jump into the crowbar here. So this looks like just a generic, oh, it's a Kmart. Did not even realize it's a Kmart. I guess I got to keep that one now. It's over here. It says Taiwan. But that's going to go with my Kmart tools. See how that goes? Now, yeah, I can't even get it. This might be just a homemade machinist hammer. Could be one that somebody bought. But lots of times these are like machinist projects. This has been pretty well loved, but I think it'll clean up really nice. That one I'm going to keep too. I'm suddenly jumping all this stuff I want to keep. Gotta stop doing that, guys. Now we've got these Pro Series bolt cutters. Made in China. But they do function. So those will go out to the flea market. Let's move some of this stuff down, just so we can give ourselves a little more room. Okay, I guess you're next. Next up, we've got this orange, bright orange dead blow hammer. And you can see it's I saw this online, a vintage Harbor Freight, because it's got the old label. Used to have a hard time saying vintage Harbor Freight or vintage. I think someone had advertised vintage Central Machinery. I don't know. With Harbor Freight, I just don't like to say vintage. This, I think, is another Harbor Freight little mini sledge. Got some good weight to it. Here we've got a pair of Flame Seal. This one's a 5/16, which is a 12-inch machinist hammer. And then this one is the 5/17, which is the 14-inch machinist hammer. Those are really nice. Flame Seal is a good brand. And this looks like another Chinese steel handle claw hammer. Here we've got a tack hammer. No branding on it, probably another Chinese or something, but it's tight. And then here we have this claw hammer, obviously probably an import or cheap made, with the way you've got the seam in it. The head is a little loose, and someone has done the screw treatment to it. And the handle itself is not in bad shape. The head's not in bad shape. It's one that could be cleaned up, made into a nice user. No branding on it. Here we've got another, warning or safety glasses. And it's an MIT. So, not a bad looking little hatchet. Steel handle. Had a guy yesterday looking for a hatchet. I sold him a little small one. So maybe if he comes back, I'll have that one out there. Here. This one I could not figure out a name on either. I'll put that in there. Oh, I bet it's a Boker. Looks like it says OKER. Or OKE, I'm not sure. So I don't know, guys. This side says nothing. It is a nice ball peen, good heavy one. And then we got this little one. And this one, I couldn't tell if it actually had said something there or not. It's been pretty well loved and used, but the head is still fairly tight. And then finally this one, which is a Craftsman. And the head is nice and tight on it as well. And this, actually, yeah, that's the green paint on it too. So that's cool. So that's the hammers. These are just kind of the extra bonus for getting my wife and my daughter the Fisker stuff they wanted. I'll get these cleared out of here, and then we will jump into the next box. So next up, we got this box of sockets and related items. I just wanted to show it to you guys. This is kind of how it was listed. The spinners were pulled out and set aside. Everything else was just piled in the box. So it was kind of take a gamble and see what you got. I kept zooming in and found a few names that I liked. So I jumped on it. You can probably read one right there. That was one of the pieces I did see. But I'm going to go ahead and get this separated out. Clean up the ones that I need to clean up real quick just to read and see what they are. And I'll come back to you. Okay, all sorted. So let's take a peek at sockets. let's start off right here. So these 3 sockets, this guy, this one, and this really worn out universal. Then this extension, they're all Duro Industria. These 3 pieces here are all right. And come over here to these 4. These 4 are all PNC. This big socket, this smaller one, and this extension are all different variants of Husky, all USA made. And then newer variants over here with these 2 of Cobalt. These 4 extensions, and then all of these sockets behind it, are, let's see if this one will show it. They're the STW, which is Stevens Walden. And we move here to these 2 8-points and this 12-point. And these are all Giller. These are all unmarked USA, except for this one. This one is a Stanley USA. Oh, and this one. This one is a, upside down, Master Mechanic USA. Don't see a lot of those in the USA. Back in this group, these are all Bonnie. Actually, I forgot to set this guy over here. But he goes with them. So it's a ZA 700 BonnieCon ratchet. Feels like it's got a little something going on inside. Yeah, a little slippery. So it might have to come apart and see what's going on with it. We get into this group back here. And these are all either None Better or New Britain. I think there's one None Better. The rest are all New Britain back there. Up here, we had one Billings, Vitaloy. And then this group here. So we've got a pretty standard quarter drive Craftsman. Looks like it was probably a double line V or flying V. Really bad printing on it. Extension. Let's go to this guy then, because he's also a double line V. Craftsman 9/16, 12-point. Then we move into this one. It's a spinner handle, speed wrench, whatever you want to call it. And it's a Craftsman Circle H. Sorry about twisting it a little bit. I want to get it in frame and light with some backlight. So a nice little Circle H spinner. That'll go in the top of the industrial box. And then we will move over to these guys. So here we have a Snap-on, 13/16. It's an F261 USA. And looks like it's that S-looking 5, which I can't remember if that was 1945 or 55. I always get the Snap-on date codes confused. So don't quote me on any of them. Next, we've got this guy, Snap-on. Looks like a 7 with a dash. It's a double offset square. Not sure the purpose of these. I don't know if it was just for clocking or if it had some other purpose. I never used one. My dad had a shop. I worked automotive for a while for him. It's just something I never used. Now we've got a 9/16 Snap-on, of course, 9/16 made in USA. And that's a funky G for the date code. And then this Snap-on, 7/8 G, made in USA, 12 point. And then we move into these. So these sockets, you can see it's a 1 1/4. As we come around, this one I don't see any other marking, but it has a few telltale signs on what it might be. One is this knurling. 2 is this tapered end. It comes up and then tapers above the knurl. 3 is this taper around here. You can see that edge is kind of concave in. 4 is the relief on the points, so that you grab more on your sidewalls than you do on your points. And then we have another one that has that same telltale knurling. Same thing going on with the points, same thing going on with that taper and that taper. This one is a 15/16. And we come around, and right there we have a maker's mark. It has got to be one of the worst ones I've seen of this maker mark. But if you know Snap-on, that is the original Snap-on socket maker mark from the early mid-1920s. That's an S. You can see the top of the S here. It's supposed to come around and comes through here and out to there. And an O. And it's an overstamp. They went back into those after. So this is probably a 1923 Snap-on socket, which leads me to believe that this is probably also a 1921 to early 1923 Snap-on socket. Oh, you know what? There is the S and the O. It is in there. Nice. I happened to turn that just right in the way the light was coming across. So yeah, these are the very early. There was one set earlier that didn't have any marking, but the very first marking was at S and O. So those are my 2 oldest Snap-on sockets by far. These, I think, are the larger 5/8 drive. Yeah, because that looks, I don't know, looks too big to be 3/4. Or too small to be 3/4. But it is definitely bigger than this 1/2-inch Bonicon. So those 2 are definitely keeper pieces. The Snap-ons are going to go in the house with me. All these Snap-ons, the Craftsman, they'll get set aside. Now we move on to this pile over here. So this is what I saw when I looked at this box. Like I said, this box was $12. And I could see this handle peeking out in the picture. You could see the about that much of it. And I'm like, yeah, I know what that is. Pebble, Plum, made in USA, 5265. Unfortunately, it's been broken. But in my world, she still deserves a cleaning and to be put in my Plum box. Well, my Plum drawer in my Proto box. It may one day become its own Plum box, I don't know. So that one's a keeper, for sure. Along with that, they did have a close-up of this guy. So it's a spinner, speed wrench. It's also a Plum. It's a 5480, 3/8 drive, I think. Speed wrench. Oh, 1/2 inch drive, sorry. My bad, 1/2 inch drive speed wrench. So that's Plum, that's going in the box. And then we've got this universal swivel. It's a WF 784 Plum, 3/4. And the WF is for war finish, which means it was not chrome plated. And he brought a friend with him to play. And this is the 11/16 Plum WF 77. And they brought one more friend. This is a Plum 13/16 12 point. So I'm not going to complain about the amount of Plum that was in there, that's for sure. And we did also pick up this Challenger, and it's a Pennons Challenger, not a Proto Challenger. 12 point. Here we have a 54/16 Los Angeles, manufactured USA, Proto, 9/16, 12 point, and it's the dual line. We got a 52/20 Proto 5/8 USA. A 52/73 Proto USA 3/8 swivel, nice and tight. Picked up another spinner, and this one is a 5480 Proto Los Angeles, manufactured USA, 1/2 inch drive. And then finally, to round out this table, there was a handful of Taiwan stuff. All really good shape Taiwan. It'll go in my, the sockets will go in my 2 for $1 bin. So if you want some good Taiwan sockets, I do have a lot of good Taiwan sockets. This is a 5449 Proto, manufactured USA. And ENG made sure he put his name on it. In multiple places. Wait, that's USS K1? X1? USS X1. So maybe this was used by the Navy. There's ENG. You can hear it. It actually still feels well lubricated. Some orange paint that needs cleaned off. I'll always take a nice Proto ratchet. And this one as well is a 1/2 inch drive. So that rounds out the sockets and socket type items. Oh, I forgot this one. I set it aside and totally forgot. So this is a Giller 1/2 inch drive speed wrench. So a little anticlimactic compared to the Proto, Plum, and Snap-on. I was kind of hoping to end there, but you know how that goes. So anyway, I'll get this cleaned off and we'll take a look at the wrenches I picked up. So I almost forgot to show you one. As I was cleaning everything up, I remembered I had this. This thing was super rusty and crusty when I pulled it out of the box. So I hit it with the wire wheel. It's not wanting to focus. Let's pan it out. Sometimes me holding it up closer with it panned out works really well. So that one is a Craftsman. And right there you can see there is no maker's mark right after the N. So I forget what years they did that, but this would have fallen, I think, in line. I'll have to do more investigating. So somebody knows more than I do, great. But if I remember correctly, that falls in line with the C-Series sockets. So the ones that were like C- whatever for their maker. And then no maker's mark on the breaker bars. So the end is pretty boogered up on this one, kind of like the Plum. Not broken though, but it will go in the top of my Craftsman box. Okay, so this lot, 0324, was this box, and it is hard to see in there, I'm sure, but it's full of wrenches. So I'm going to dig through there and see what's in it, and I'll come back, much like the other stuff, once I have it well sorted. All right, so the wrenches are all sorted. Looks like the sun is over here. You can see my shadow. I got the door open. It's a beautiful day out. So hopefully the shadows don't bother you too much. We're going to start off right here. Why not, right? So here we've got a pretty beat up Wizard. 1/2 inch, 7/16. And a couple of these nice Select Steel auto wrench type wrenches. Select Steel is also, Duro, Industrial. We've got a couple Crescent USA double opens. Looks like a 3/4 and 5/8, and a 15/16. It just says 15/16. I wonder what it says on the other side. No, just 15/16. I wonder if it's two different positions. Interesting. Here we've got a couple Barcolo Buffaloes. Flip it over. Looks like a 7/8 by 13/16. And then this guy, which is a 7/16 by 3/8. Double open. Picked up this really nice WT Grant, which is a Japanese manufacturer. Nice, thick, heavy-duty, good Japanese wrench. Heavy, real heavy wrench. So, gotta move a few things real quick. I was cross-contaminating a few things. So, next up, we've got this thing I just thought was cool. CV Chrome Vanadium. It's got a VV right there. And it's a Bonnie. And we've got these two, which are the Zenil, which is, where'd it go? All the way over here is a Bonnie as well. And this one's a 13/16 and 3/4. And a little bit smaller, one of those Zenil, which is a 3723, which is 3/8 by 7/16. And finally in the Bonnie camp, got this little guy, 7/16 by 3/8. And we've got this big pile over here. It's kind of hard to see. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will hold it up and show it to you. These are all either TrueFit or just the Forged in USA, but I think they were made by TrueFit or whoever made them for TrueFit. They look just like TrueFits. They just say Forged in USA. But a good sized pile of it, painted orange, all that cool stuff. Got a Billings 19/32 and a half. And this double box Billings 8731A. Vitaloy Special. Oh, there it is, 13/16 by 3/4. This one is just a neat wrench. It's an Eternum Furia. No country of origin, no anything else, but I mean, this thing looks like it's like a year old. I just thought that one was super cool. Here we've got a 6120 Penance Corp. We've got this Thorson 3016. Another Billings, I think. Or no, this one's a Fleet. 50118 or 5018, 9/16 by half. Challenger, 7/8 by 3/4. An 8-inch 708 Proto, manufactured USA. That works for pretty well. Jaw's a little bit loose. This is one that I did see. I could just see that yellow Los Angeles. 1226 Proto Los Angeles. And it is a 13/16 with the pebble pattern. Combination wrench. Here we've got a C20 SK Electrolyte 3/4 combination wrench. We'll jump up here. Made in England. Bedford Vanadium. I like that they do both sizes like that. Here we've got a New Britain ignition wrench, 5/16 by 9/32. Here we've got some tape scissors. This is Wester Brothers, Chrome USA. I'm not a scissor guy, so I don't know much about them. I'll set that aside. My wife will probably want those. She likes that kind of stuff. Here we've got this double flat screwdriver. It is sharp, though. When you grab it, it feels like it's going to poke you. And it's a Black Hawk, 1384. Here we got a J.W. Chapman, from Kensington, Connecticut. And it's like a nut driver type piece. So you put a bit in it and it turns. It's not just the fixed screwdriver. It does turn, but it's real kludgy, so it needs a good cleaning. I'm not going to sit there and force it. Here we picked up a 1/2-inch Par X that somebody did a little custom job on. But that was still going with the Par X stuff. A 10mm Matco, USA. It always sucks whenever I think about Matco's not all made in USA anymore. Here we got something I've been looking for. 1/2-inch Allen USA. So if you remember a while back, I got an Allen set, USA set, which was like, I want to say 1/4 up to 1 1/4. And it was missing the 3/8 and the 1/2-inch. So that gives me the 1/2-inch to put in. This one's cool. 11/16 Craftsman Vanadium, forged in USA. Yeah, so I'm not seeing, I was looking for like the CI or something on that. I didn't see it on that one. Here we've got a Sears 7/16, forged in Japan. Here's a Craftsman with a single line. So this is essentially the Flying V, double line V version that they made of these smaller wrenches. They just did the single line on both sides. Got 2 Craftsman ignition wrenches. Western Forge Craftsman chisel, $42,973. It is a wear safety glasses, so a bit newer. That edge looks really nice. Honestly, it doesn't look like it's been used. So we got through all that stuff. Let's move on to these guys. Here's one of those like lathe type wrenches. So it's a Fairmont made in USA. This one, I know you can't read it, but that is a Lakeside emblem. Usually you can't read it anyway, even if you clean them up. And it's an S wrench. Those are always cool. And then this is a Velchek. That's the shield. It's got a V in there somewhere. I do put these separate on my shelf in the flea market. People like to check them out. Nobody's actually bought one, but I've got like 2 or 3 up there, and they keep checking them out. Here we've got a Cobalt 3/8, so I'll put that over on the side with my Cobalt stuff. And then in these, this is something I wouldn't normally keep, but we did get a 3/4, a 9/16, half, 5/8, 9/16, half, 7/16, 3/8, and then this half 7/16 double box. So I can put that together as a nice little set in the booth and sell it all for one price. Yeah. 7 of them there, so, maybe I'll do $5 or something on it. You give somebody a decent set of wrenches to work with. Next up, we've got this bag. And this is a Master Force combination wrench set. I'm not going to pull them all out of here, but it is a metric set. I think it's complete. And the reason I say that is if we look at the label on the back, it doesn't give us sizes, but it says that it's manufactured in China, distributed by Danaher Tool Group. The skips that it has, like 18, 16, 15, and 11, if I remember right. Those are all the same skips that the Craftsman sets that Danaher made in the US had. So I think that they just modeled this to be like the Craftsman sets. So I'll sell that together for, one money as well. They did, in the pictures, have this unrolled. They didn't pull anything out, so you couldn't really see what it was. I mean, you could tell what the set was supposed to be, but not manufacturer or anything. So you get this nice green roll, obviously an ignition set. It does say Keith & Keith Incorporated. I'm not sure what that is. All the wrenches are the same manufacturer. And it's a manufacturer I don't know anything about, but it is Meteor. No made anywhere branding or anything like that, but they're all like a full set of Meteor ignition wrenches. We do have this file, ignition file for points. No branding on it. We've got our feeler gauges. A&E Manufacturing, Racine, Wisconsin. We've got an ignition screwdriver, which I got upside down. It says Herald, USA. Looks like the only thing missing is the ignition pliers. I think I have some generic sets of ignition pliers. So I'll probably put that in there and have it as a complete ignition set. I thought that was kind of cool. To me, this was worth the $6 just for the cool factor. And like I said, I paid $6 for this entire lot. Everything we've seen in this wrench section was $6. And we'll get over here to these guys last. So these two are technically not Williams, but they just remind me of the old Williams engineer wrenches. I don't really see any markings from anyone on them, other than the size. We got a 1/4 and a 5/16. And then we have that little T on each of them. So if anyone knows anything about these, let me know. Whenever I find these, I think I got one or two other ones. I put them in with my Williams Engineers wrenches, just because that's what they remind me of. So we did pick up this like tubular style Williams Super Wrench, double box, and it's a 7/8 by 3/4. And then we picked up this more flat style. That one was an offset. This is a 1 by 15/16. The same kind of squish tube look to them. This does not have a maker's mark. I can't tell if it was supposed to have one there. Someone ground through it. It's a 9/16. Nothing there. By a half. 1725B, I guess I could try to look that up. But just the way it says Van Chrome, that whole font and that style, reminds me of that first generation Super Wrench that says the Super Wrench, and even put the quotation marks around and everything. So I set it with the Williams stuff for now, at least. And then here, looks to be a full set of Williams double box, 13/16 on 25/32. 7/8 and 3/4. 11/16 and 5/8. Almost looks like there should be something in between there. That's why I'm saying maybe a full set. 9/16 and 1/2 inch. And 7/16 and 3/8. So I know I've got some of these double boxes, but the smaller sizes I haven't run across very much. I keep finding larger sizes. So I think this will help me fill out that double box set that I have. So that wraps it up for what we picked up for $19 roughly for everything you saw. I'll get the camera turned around. We'll close this thing out. So guys, what'd you think? Whenever I saw those auctions going, honestly, it was the Proto Los Angeles wrench that said, get these wrenches. And I started seeing some Williams badges in there as well. And then definitely whenever I saw some of the Plum stuff in the sockets, I'm like, yeah, $12 or whatever it was. $13, I think, is what it ended up being. Definitely worth that too. Could have taken a gamble and finding those SO snap-ons. That was awesome. Whenever I got those home, I was like, okay, are these just going to be some generic, like, some of the New Britain stuff, or a Blackhawk that was an unlabeled Blackhawk. I've seen those before. Because if you don't know, the guys who started Snap-on came from Blackhawk. So in the beginning, a lot of their stuff looks a lot like Blackhawk stuff. So whenever I saw the one had the SO on it, I was excited. And then with you guys, I got to be excited again because I actually found the SO on the second one. So those were definitely cool. I think I got some really cool stuff. It is hard to pick a favorite. Probably those two Snap-on sockets. But all that Plum, I've been searching for Plum, and you don't find a lot of it out here on the East Coast. Every once in a while you'll find a few pieces, but being that they were a Los Angeles manufacturer, it's not as easy to find it out here. I see guys at swap meets in LA picking up like bags of Plum stuff, and I'm like, man, that would be cool. But I guess, we get Bonnie and we get other stuff out here, so I can't complain too much, right? Anyway, guys, I hope you like that one. Let me know what your favorite is. Remember to like, share, subscribe. And I've still got that giveaway going. When we hit 500, I'll get a set of those plastic socket rails that I use inside the industrial box back there. I think this morning, whenever I looked, I was at 456 or 458 subscribers. So we're getting really close to that 500 mark. And when we hit that 500 mark, I'm going to order you a set of those and get it delivered to one lucky winner. So tell your friends, come out and check out Burnout. You find some cool tools, and he can bore you and annoy you as much as I do about tools. Anyway, guys, I'm Burnout. I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.